And I don't know what looting these cities and burning them down, I don't know what it does. And guess what? It has accomplished nothing so far. This just happened again. And it's going to happen again and again and again because nothing is being done. What has been enacted? What has changed? Nothing. Just a bunch of people waving their arms and they're not going to play sports.
I think we can let the Stephen A. Smith from ESPN explain what the ultimate goal of the protest is.
Sure. Well, I want to hear it.
There's an election coming up on November 3rd, and you'd have to be blind, deaf, and dumb to not recognize what a lot of these players are leaning towards. You have to recognize the fact that there's going to be another side that's going to be averse to the positions that they've taken. They're not going to try to just make the NBA feel the pinch, but they may also make sure their voices are heard come election night. It's incumbent upon the players to recognize this and act accordingly. I think, to answer your question directly, we're going to see a lot of people that once would have, really frowned upon these kind of actions stand up and support these athletes, because once the dust settles, they're going to want to do business with them. And those athletes are going to remember at a time like this, particularly considering the kind of issues that we're discussing, they're going to remember who stood with them, who supported them, and who didn't. And
I don't get. He's trying to make it out like one side wants people killed unfairly by the police.
Right. Well, yeah.
Like, is there a big constituency for that?
Yeah, the white players are all for it.
No. And this narrative that the police are, seeking to kill black guys on the street is, no, it's an extreme take, I know, from one side, but it's bullshit. I mean, it's just bullshit.
Of course.
I mean, it's insulting and it's crazy, and most cops are good people and some cops are stupid like everything else, and they do dumb stuff. And again, it's so easy. As you were just saying, it's so easy for somebody to tweet out or say, what was, why'd the cop have to shoot this guy? Why'd the cop? Well, I mean, you don't know until you're in that situation.
Yeah,
Doesn't mean it was a justified shooting at all. I'm happy to say I don't know all the facts in this one. Just like everyone else, other than these cops and Blake. I mean, why is that so difficult to say? I know in the social media world you can't say that, but
there's a tremendous amount of peer pressure, and it's kind of been globalized thanks to social media.
Right.
But especially now, cops have to be thinking, like if someone goes for their pockets or whatever, they have to be thinking, this guy's probably grabbing a gun and pulling out.
Well, especially after he's already been tased.
Well, if you're tased and warned multiple times, now that being said, shooting somebody 7 times in the back seems excessive. Right. It certainly seems excessive. I will be the first one to say that. But I'm willing to hear the facts on both sides. I don't know what looting these cities and burning them down, I don't know what it does. And I said this when people jumped all over me. Right after the Floyd thing, we went on that Sunday night, and I said, I don't know what this accomplishes. And guess what? It has accomplished nothing so far. This just happened again. And it's going to happen again and again and again because nothing is being done. What has been enacted? What has changed? Nothing. Just a bunch of people waving their arms, and they're not going to play sports, and they take a knee, and they do fucking celebrities do videos, and nothing is done because they don't really care that much. They just want to be seen as heroic on social media.
Well, accomplished in the NBA, when they do play, you can wear phrases on your jerseys, and Kristen Bell stepped down from some, like that's what it turns into.
It's all bullshit.
And that's what it'll turn into again.
Yeah.
Now we'll have ads, and people will lose jobs in acting for some reason, and episodes of TV shows will be taken down because
some police departments.
That's the easy shit that we can do.
We've defunded some police departments.
That's true, and that's accomplished a lot. Yeah. And like I always say, fantastic. So, if a guy walked in here in their world, and I'm not even saying this is, I don't know. I'd love to have LeBron James on and talk to him about it. I don't know if he's for defunding entire police departments. I have no idea. But so somebody walks in here with a gun and points it to Mike's head. Well, that we wouldn't care. They would just say, shoot the guy.
Do it.
Comes in and puts a gun to Dale Bear's head, more importantly. Like in their world, like they would then call a social worker, right?
Yeah.
And the social worker would come and have a conversation?
I don't think they conceive of that happening.
Stand down.
Why? But it does happen.
I just don't think that they look at, for them, the cop is the threat.
Okay, so there's no cop, though, in their mind, right? The cops don't exist. Yeah. So what happens then? Somebody comes in and puts a gun to my head, like, and they say
security or something.
Yeah, but those guys are evil too, aren't they?
Not quite as.
I've read where they say social workers come in. So a social worker would come in and walk up the stairs and knock on the door and come in here. And the guy would be a gun to my head, some madman. And they would say, why are you doing this? What was your childhood like? This is just pretend. I mean, was your dad a 5 or a 7? That it's We have just descended into complete madness.
It's just pure emotional thinking.
Yeah,
they don't go the next logical level to what happens after you defund the police.
And I totally get it as much as I can. I get it. And I hear people say, oh, LeBron James has been famous his whole life. He doesn't know what it's like. Well, I don't know what LeBron James was like when he was 8 years old or 10 years old. I mean, I know he was famous when he was 15 or 16, but he grew up tough, a hard life. I suspect he's gone through a hell of a lot more than I have. There's no question.
That also might even add to it. The fact that LeBron James is famous and still might have to deal with racism that we wouldn't do.
Yeah, and he was like...
You know what I mean? He's rich and still has to deal with shit that I wouldn't have to deal with.
No doubt. That side of the argument, I just don't play it. I know these guys are rich and famous. It doesn't matter. Because a lot of these guys are anonymous. Even the NBA players, they can try. You think some cop in the middle of the night knows that some guy is 6'11"? No. You know what I mean?
Right.
That I will not... agree with, but I see people do that. That's bullshit. But I don't know. I'd like some plan if I see a plan. But even then, great. The NBA players give this plan to the owners of the teams. Then what? I assume they think these owners have relationships with Trump, which may be true. But then what?
And also, not all of our problems can be solved through the political system. Some of them are just cultural problems that require real work and things other than bills and resolutions passed by the city council.
And I'm all for it.
We've been doing that for 50 years, trying to solve our problems with government. It's just not working.
And I'm all for moving some of the money around and it goes to police departments if it's needless and put it somewhere else. We talked about this pension plan, which is bankrupting cities. Great, let's do it. But, I don't know.
And we forget that it goes away. If they felt that strongly about the George Floyd thing, they shouldn't have come back for a season at all. You know what I mean? If last night is worth boycotting or sitting out the rest of the season or whatever it is, George Floyd happened 3 months ago. You shouldn't have come back for a season if it's that powerful a message, I guess.